Hey guys, I have another video today, November 12th, 2020. Today is Thursday all day. And I'm going to do a video on the Russell 2000 because the Russell 2000 has an interesting setup that I'm using as a guide, like a guide. I want to see the pattern play out. Russell has been a very, doesn't always go with the major indexes. Like if you look at the S&P, it doesn't look the same as the Russell. But I find whenever I lose my grip on reality that the Russell always kind of keeps me going in the right direction. So if we look at the Russell, what are we looking at? I have Bollinger Bands up here. And we are very high up in the Bollinger Band area. If you look, like let's say the weekly shows that the Bollinger Band area, we're near it, which means that I think it's 92-95% of the time the prices are going to stay within the lines until the lines change because it's based on a moving average. But for our purposes, whenever we see this Bollinger Band cloud, we want to believe that prices will stay within them unless there's a large move. And if you look down here, let's say December 17, 2018, when the prices got too low outside the Bollinger Band, they corrected, they reverted to the mean. When prices get too high, they correct back to the moving average and maybe then some. So that's the thought between keeping track of this Russell and the current price action on the weekly. I want to believe that this price is high. And if you look at the stochastic indicator, it shows that, hey, maybe there's a divergence. Maybe prices are too high and the momentum is shifting. It went from big sharp up and now we're maybe going to a lesser degree. So based on that idea, let me get rid of these lines. Based on that idea, I'm tracking the highs and the lows in this, which looks to me like a wedge. Down here, if this indicator shows divergence, because we have rising prices, but the stochastic shows more of a slowing down of momentum, then what we could be in is this wedge pattern. Now we would have to take out the lows on this week's bar eventually, whenever we do. But wedges, the way I've seen them, is they usually get an explosive conclusion up and then they fail to about half. So that's my view of how this rising wedge might play out. So given that today we had, here's that Bollinger Band, and we did spike out and it's staying within the range. So now we had a red day. The whole market had a red day, but Russell was stinking it up all day, and then the Dow and the rest did follow. So I am using the Russell, and on the daily, I don't know if this is when it'll turn around. I was concerned that it might turn around and do one more test, which could happen. I have no idea. It can go up and down. I have no idea in the short term because prices are random in the short term. But this wedge pattern is going to be my guiding post for the next few days, and then I'll reassess for the next following weeks. We are in the beginning of the month, and we have this explosive action because of the election. And now we're getting news about lockdowns. I know in the Bay Area, in San Francisco, California, they're starting to shut down indoor dining. That could be a headwind going forward. But I just wanted to show you my pretty pattern. They work until they don't. Until this pulls back and then holds, this pattern will still be my guiding post. I am looking for a pullback. What is that pullback? I guess the target would be about 10 and then 20%. That's what I'm looking for because of this wedge pattern, because the market is very high. That's my trade until these indicators reset. If you look before, the market sold off like 30%. Russell sold off quite more, 40%. The last time prior to that it did work the trade, it was 14 and then 26%. But if you look, it's not always a guarantee. Just because the indicator gets overbought, sometimes you get these shallow moves and then it rises and then rallies quite a bit. So on the weekly, I am looking for the conclusion of this false breakout and then a test of this trend line. And then if that trend line doesn't hold, somewhere between 1500 and 1300 on the Russell. But there's many days between here and there. I would just like to see, like maybe on the 4-hour, maybe it tests the last high. That's what I would be looking for. Until then, we just gotta wait and see. It still is in a bull market. It's still a bull trend. It is actually foolish to think the way I think, that the trend will end. You should really wait until the trend ends. But we are still in the bull market. If you listen to me, you can lose money. Be aware of that. This is just my educational pattern to share and kind of keep a record of, so we improve our trading over time. Hope this was helpful. If you liked this video, please like, subscribe, and share this video with someone if you think it might help them. Cheers.